On my 18th birthday, the state handed me a black trash bag and shut the door. Months later, I walked into court with my little sister, and the system that dumped me suddenly had to listen. That swing started with a $5 deed my grandfather left behind. My caseworker passed me an envelope like it was nothing. Happy birthday. Final check, $250. And this? Probate. From your grandfather. Through the wired window, my sister pressed her palm to the glass. No hugs, no goodbyes. Disruptive, they said. I stared at her fingers like they were a rope I couldn't grab. Then I turned and walked. The trash bag was light. Jeans, shirts, my mom's old book, and one county fair photo. At the bus station, the probate letter made my stomach drop. A lawyer in the Catskills said my grandpa left me parcel 7B, 2.5 acres, for the settlement of back taxes. Total due, sink. The attached photo showed woods and a curved tin can of a building. A Quonset hut, probably rusted, probably worthless. But $5 was cheaper than burning my $250 on a week of barely surviving. I called my sister from a payphone I wasn't supposed to use. Leo? Yeah, I'm going somewhere. Where? Grandpa left us land. I'm gonna fix it up. Then I'm coming for you. When I hung up, my hands wouldn't stop shaking. The lawyer slid the deed across his desk, then added like a casual aside. A developer asked about it, offered $5 grand. $5,000 was rent, groceries, a retainer. It also sounded like they expected me to be desperate. I'm not selling, I said. He blinked, then pushed a heavy iron key toward me. He left this for the padlock. The road turned into muddy ruts, then vanished. I hiked until the woods went dead quiet. Then I saw it. A huge gray half-barrel of corrugated metal in a clearing, rust blooming in patches. A chain hugged the doors, a padlock the size of my fist. I jammed the key in. Then I turned it. Then it screamed, metal on metal. Next, it clicked. After that, the chain hit the ground. Finally, the door groaned open. Stale air rolled out. One dusty beam of light cut the dark. In that beam sat a wooden crate, like it had been staged. Glass jars packed in straw. I lifted one and my arms dipped. Not food, cash, bundled tight with brittle rubber bands. My knees hit the concrete before my brain caught up. I laughed once, then it turned into a sob. Under the straw was my grandfather's journal. First page was a letter. If you're reading this, you didn't take the easy money, it said. The foundation is the key. Then Summit Creek came back with a letter. $25,000 and a threat about blight and eminent domain. Like they could erase me with paperwork the way the system did. So I dug in. I tarped the roof, got the old stove running, hauled water, and made that metal shell livable. The town watched the quiet foster kid work, and some of them started helping without making it a big deal. I went hunting for the foundation. On my hands and knees, I found a perfect square seam in the concrete. No crack. A door. I levered it up until a cold hole opened under my feet. Down there sat a lockbox and another sealed letter. You don't just own the land, my grandpa wrote. You own the aquifer under it. That's what they wanted, not my rusty hut. My water. The box held surveys and a legal opinion tying the water rights to my deed. My lawyer read it and smiled like he'd been waiting years. This isn't defense, he said. This is leverage. When the suits showed up, they slid a new offer across the desk. Big number, fake smiles. I slid my answer back. No sale. Lease access, drill a well I control, hook up power, and fund a town water trust. They stared at me like a kid wasn't allowed to have terms, but they'd already built their whole plan around my ridge. They signed, because they had no better option. The first night the grid was hooked up, I flipped a switch by my door and the whole hut snapped bright with steady light. I stood there grinning like an idiot. For once, it stayed on. That summer, I went to court for my sister with proof of a home, steady income, and a community backing me. The judge looked at her, looked at me, and granted guardianship. Walking out with her hand in mine didn't feel loud. It felt solid. My sister squeezed back like she didn't trust it yet. When she stepped onto our porch, she whispered, "You did it." I squeezed her hand. We did. If you've ever had to build a life from nothing, what's the hardest choice you made that saved you? Drop it in the comments.